What's up, Goody Fam? You're welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you how I was able to make this beautiful pleated free shorts and top. So if this is what you're interested in, I beg to keep on watching. Without further ado, let's dive into the video. So I'll be coming down by 2 inch. This will serve as the waistband. Then I'll use a stretch ruler to connect the dots. Then after connecting the dots, I will come in by 1 inch from the side of the pattern paper. This will serve as the side line or the border line. Then I'll be using a stretch ruler to connect the dots together like so. Then I'll come down from the beginning of the pattern paper. I'll come down by 12 inch, which will serve as my crotch line. Then 18 inch, which is my hemline. My actual measurement is 17, but 18 inch, that's 1 inch for sewing allowance. Then I'll connect the lines together. How I get my crotch measurement is that I divide my hip into 4. Then I add extra 3 inch, making it 12 because it's a free short. Then after connecting the lines, from the beginning of the border line, I will come in by ½ an inch. This is because our hip is not straight. Then I'll also do the same thing at the hemline by coming in by ½ an inch. Then I'll connect the line back to the border line. This helps to give that curve. I'll input my waist measurements. For my front waist, my actual measurement is 7.7. That's 31 divided by 4, which is 7.7. And I'll be adding extra 6 inch, making it 13.7 because of the pleat in front. Then I'll also come down by the crotch line. I'll also input the 13.7. Then I'll use a stretch ruler to connect the lines together. Then I will divide what I've gotten at the crouch into 4, then extend it at the outer crouch line. Then I'll use a curve ruler to connect the lines together. So for the hemline, I'll be dividing my thigh measurement into 2. Then I'll add extra 1½ inch for sewing allowance plus the ½ inch which I've already removed from the border line. Then at this upper part, I'll be adding extra 1 inch all the way down. Here will serve as my zip allowance because I'll be using a center zipper for this short. Then I'll connect the whole lines together using a stretch ruler. Then I'll cut it out. This is the front part.
Okay, all of them don't they notice. I'm not joking. All my guys, them know me. Since 06, I've been writing this story. I know be OG. But if you ask them know me. I know they.
I'll be using the front pattern to cut out the back pattern. I'll be folding out this zipper allowance so that I can cut out the back pattern. Before then, I will be coming down by 1 inch. This will serve as the waist slope. You know, our waist is not straight. Then I'll connect it back to the waistline. So I'll be using the front pattern to cut out the back. I'll come up by 1 inch, then connect it back to the initial waistline. This is because of the curve on our hip. Then the next thing I will do is to add extra 1 inch to all sides. You know, initially we have 13 inch, so adding extra 1 inch to all sides. Then after adding it, I will connect it with a stretch ruler. So for the curve, I'll be adding 2 inch to meet the outer line of the back pattern. I'll be using the 2 inch to get the crouch of the back pattern. Then I'll be using a curve ruler to connect the whole lines together and a stretch ruler to connect the hem line together. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out.
Music chose me, just know this and know this. I get lonely, but I'm never lonely. Sexy.
So I'll be using my pattern paper to cut on my fabric. For this tutorial, I used 2½ yards of crepe fabric. Please, if you are use a thicker one. I saw Shege using this light material. So I'll use pin to hold it down, then use my tailor's chalk to dot out the lines. You know, when you're using pattern paper, you have to add extra inch on your fabric, especially if the fabric is stretchy. Then after I'm done, I'll cut it out.
Ladies, come wine feel me slowly.
Then for my waistband, for the width, I'll be using 5 inch, and the length I'll be using 34 or 35 inch for the waistband. Then I go ahead and cut it out.
I blow your candle light. You know I'm just that type. No, them no big kill my vibe. Them no big kill my vibe.
So to cut the top, I'll be drafting out the shoulder line. Then from the shoulder line, I will come down by 10 inch, which is my bust point. Then 13 inch, which is my under bust. Then 16 inch, which is my half length. And also it will be as to serve as my full top length. And I'll be using 2 inch for the allowance, making it 18 inch. Then I'll use a straight ruler to connect the whole lines together. For the neckline, I'll be using 4 inch for the neck width, then 3 inch for the neck depth. Then I'll use a curve ruler or an armhole ruler to connect the lines together. Then for my shoulder, I'll be using 7.5 inch for my shoulder plus half an inch, making it 8. Then I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Then I'll use a straight ruler to connect it to the neckline. Then I will come down from that shoulder slope by 8 inch for my armhole. Then I'll draw a straight line which will serve as my chest line. Then I will connect a straight line to connect the armhole and the chest line together. Then I'll get the midpoint of my chest line, which is 4. Then I'll come in by half an inch. Then I'll be getting my bust measurement on my chest line. I will divide my bust measurement into 4, which is 35 divided by 4, 8.7. Then I'll mark it plus extra 1.5 inch. Then I'll connect it with the midpoint, which I've already gotten from the armhole. I'll connect the dots together like so. After I'm done connecting the dots, I will get my dart. I will be using my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, which is 3.5. I'll go all the way down. Then I'll be using a straight ruler to connect the dots together up to the bust point. I didn't use the chest point, just the bust point. So for my hemline, I will come in by half an inch on both sides. If you have a bigger bust, you can use 1 inch or 1.5. Then I will join the point to meet my under bust like so. Then I'll get my body measurement. On the bust point line, I'll be measuring my bust. My bust divided by 4 is 8.7. Then I'll add 1.5 inch for the sewing allowance. Then for the under bust, my round under bust is 29. Then I'll divide it into 4, getting 7.2. Then I'll add extra 1.5 inch for the sewing allowance. I'll also use the same measurement for my under bust. Then for the hemline, I'll be dividing my hip into 4. 36 divided by 4, which is 9, plus the 1 inch for the dart. Then I'll add extra half inch, which is 1.5 inch for the sewing allowance.
If you hit your enemies shine. If you not depend on me, enter the light. 'Cause you can never kill my vibe.
So I'll be using the front pattern to cut out the back pattern. Then I will use a stretch ruler to connect the armhole lines together. Then I will cut it out. For the back, it won't have any dart because of the open back at the back. Then you know the back is not straight. Then I will measure my back from shoulder to my back waist. It is 15, which is the point I'm marking now. Then I'll cut out the rest of the body. I'm not using any measurement because it's an open back. Then I will mark a straight line on the waistline, which is 15. I'll mark a straight line. Then I'll connect the armhole together. Then I'll still use my front pattern to get my shoulder slope. Then from the half length, I will use what I have for the front to get get for my back half length, so that it will be equal when I join it, which I'm having 2 inch. Then I will mark it, but I'll be cutting it out because it has to be joined with the belt. I don't know if you understand. Please just follow me. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out. Then when I cut out the half length, I will divide it into 2. This will also serve as my belt. Then for the open back, I will come in by 5 inch all the way up. Then I'll connect it with a straight ruler. The line will meet the neck point. That is where the line will meet, at the neck point, like so. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out. When you cut it out, this is what you get. So when you place it, you'll be using the half length that you cut out to join it. Don't worry, you understand it better when I use a fabric to cut it. Just as I did for the short, you also use your tailor's chalk to dot out the lines by adding extra half inch. So for the half length, it will be longer than this, but I'm just using this to map out the shape of the half length and also the belt tail. I'll be cutting the lining for the top. I'm done cutting the lining for the top. Then I'll go to the sewing machine to join it, that's to turn it with the lining. So I'm done turning it. I'm also sewing my dart. Then before I join the shoulder, that's with the back part, I'll first of all join the half length, which is the belt. Also I'll join it like so. So this is how I'll be joining it. I'll be using pin to hold it so that you see how I join it. Then I'll go to the sewing machine to join it. Then I'll come back. So I'm done joining it with the sewing machine. You see how beautiful it's turning out. Then I'll go ahead to join my shoulder like so. This is how I turn my shoulder. Then after I'm done sewing my shoulder, then I'll move to the sewing of the short. I'll first of all join the center zipper. Then I'm done joining the center zipper. This is it, looking so pretty. The next thing I'll do is to pleat the waist. From the zipper, I'll be coming in by 3 inch. Then when I come in by 3 inch, I will mark it. Then I'll use my finger to pinch it up. I will measure it to be 1 inch height. Then when I've gotten the 1 inch, I'll fold it outward, not towards the center zipper but outside the center zipper. Then I'll be using pin to hold it. Then I'll do the same thing to the other side by using my finger to pinch it and measuring 1 inch. Then I'll make the pleat to meet the first pleat. Then I'll use pin to hold it down. So when you are done, this is how it looks. Then to the other side of the short, you also come in by, for this time around, I'll be coming in by 4 inch. Then I will still pinch it just the way I did with 1 inch height, then pin it down. Then when you are done, you go to the sewing machine and stitch it all the way around. The places that you pin, that is where you'll be stitching to. Also remember, when you are done pleating it, you measure it. Does measure your waist to know if you still have your waist measurement and also sewing allowance. If you don't, you have to lose the pin, then do it again. Then you do the same thing for the back. When you are done, you take it to the sewing machine, then stitch it round. Then you join the front and back together. So when we are done joining everything together, so this is how your top will look like when you join it with the half length. I've already joined everything. So I use bias to turn the hand. You know, it's a sleeveless. So this is the back and this is the front. So this is my short. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you've not yet subscribed, like, comment and share. I will see you on my next one. Bye.